right, welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And we have Blood X up at the top. How's it going, Blood X?
Good to be back.
All right. So let's get this show started. I guess we're gonna talk about what are we talking about today, man? Oh yeah, we're talking about No Man's Sky, and the developer is working on a new huge project. Like, we haven't heard that before.
Oh man, it's gonna be amazing. There's gonna be so much stuff in it. It's so big, so huge.
Yeah.
It's gonna be super amazing.
It's going to be huge.
You're gonna be able to actually like go into VR mid game, man. It's gonna be awesome, and you're gonna be able to do handstands. It's really good.
I so believe that, because the developers of No Man's Sky has never told us something was going to be huge and it not be huge, right?
Well, I mean, eventually. It may take a year or 2 or 3, but it'll eventually be whatever they said. It might get bigger than huge. It might be bigger than huge come 2025.
Yeah. It
Say
does.
so.
I mean, No Man's Sky still isn't as amazing as it looked and sounded like it was going to be when they originally announced they were making No Man's Sky. Now, it's a lot better. It's really a lot better. I mean, I even enjoy playing the game.
I've been surprised how much they
made
finally
it out to
added. Yeah, you know what? They need to team up with Peter Molyneux just to make us the next big great game. And you just get Pong until it just slowly evolves into like the best game ever. But it just is this really slow, grindy. It starts off where you're just like a stick man. You're just like, don't worry, eventually this will be the most realistic game. And
well, it's fine. They do things like that. They're called pre-releases. I mean, we're playing one with Grounded.
That isn't how these guys roll, man. They do full release, full price game, and then they go, we'll get the game to you. Don't worry, just wait.
Because Grounded pre-release, you don't expect everything to be there.
Hey, look how much is in Small World. It's we don't know if it exists. It's just they gave us a beautiful video of an amazing game that looks so much better than Grounded. We go looking for the site. There's nothing really there, man. It's just words. We're like, oh wow, this is somebody wrote in a tablet. This is what I wanted my game to do. But yeah, somebody made a movie.
Talking to Polygon, Hello Games studio founder Sean Murray has talked about what the company is doing now, saying they are working on a huge, ambitious game, similar to No Man's Sky. Murray, who used to work at EA and developed lots of sequels, is keen to make another exciting project, saying that Hello Games formed to make the games they always wanted to make.
Eventually.
That
should just be the end tag. Everyone in the commercial should end with,
oops, that's not the right one. I was going to do a rim shot. There we go. It's not as fun now, though.
Blood X is still learning the concept. But Blood X has got his awesome tomatoes on there. I want to hear that one eventually. But your timing's already off.
Yeah.
Xeno has a new toy, a soundboard, so expect terrible. You're definitely not going to make it. You're going to die. This reminds me of an episode of Family Guy where they became radio jockeys. It's like, the little man.
Oh. All right.
Come on, everybody. Let's get it going. Are you ready for the next subject?
I mean, as far as this goes, they don't seem to really, other than saying it's going to be big and it's going to be like No Man's Sky, not a lot of information on here. It was more just funny of who is saying they're having this huge new thing coming, being their past history with.
Well, I noticed that they're at least trying not to go into detail. They've learned that, not to say what's going to be in a game. They're probably going like, we ain't saying nothing because they may not have.
It says Murray does not share any specifics of the next project, and judging from these quotes, it might be a while before Hello Game reveals it. Well, take your time, get the game, figure out where you're going with the game really well, then announce it.
I mean, hey, look, Peter Molyneux learned the same lesson. We saw that trailer for Fable, and it didn't say nothing. It just said Fable. You were like, what's it going to be about? He's like, I'm not saying nothing. I screw this up every time I open my mouth. So he's just like, what's it about? Fable. How many players? Fable. RPG, action RPG, Fable. All right, Peter, you've learned. Good job, Peter. Here's a cookie.
All right.
Now, this guy did have to drop the word huge, so it better be huge. We are going to roll that back. We're going to be like, hey. We're going to pull an Angry Joe. It only lasts 4 hours. Huge is not 4 hours of gameplay.
It's like telling the woman you're going to rock her all night long. And then
I've tried that. It leads to chafing and soreness. People don't show you that part of it, all these songs.
All right.
It's like, we're going to rig love all night long. It's like, you're going to hurt in the morning real bad. Like,
So next, we'll I guess we're going to share some Marvel love with Robert Downey Jr., who confirms he is all done with the MCU. I mean, like, killing him off probably was a good.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
this is comic book universe. That means nothing.
Yeah. No. And that was the reason, I guess, why it came down to him actually announcing it. Was because so many people were like, hey, he could come back. He could come back. He could come back. And so Downey told, who did he tell? He told somebody he's done. He's all done. Not coming back.
Got to be doing that, man. He's got these great projects like Dr. Doolittle out there. I mean, he ain't got time for making money.
Dr. Doolittle.
Making actual movies. It's like, I got to have my fist well up a dragon's butt. That's what I'm into now, man.
Yeah. This was on the Smartless podcast.
Doing colon cleansing.
That's where you want to announce something. Smartless.
Dr. Doolittle is my answer to that statement. This dude went from being possibly one of the most recognizable faces in the movie industry to... Does that dude have his hand up a dragon's butt? I mean, I really cannot emphasize how much I was just like, feels like such a huge drop. That is not where the Infinity Gauntlet goes, buddy. Like, whoa. So, but Robert Downey, like many people said, he seems to have gone back to making bad movies. Because, for a while, his movie career was like just a chain of terrible movies, and then it got good, and apparently he's decided, well, that's boring. Let's go back to the terrible. And now he's like, I haven't heard anything he's made recently being any good.
I mean, I also understand when you're tied to, he mentions this on this podcast, that being tied to such a large franchise can be very consuming because it's not just the movie, that takes your time. With such a huge franchise, your life has changed on a daily basis,
Yeah,
so
look at Star Wars, for example. Most of the actors in Star Wars had very few successful careers outside of Harrison Ford. Even the kid that played Anakin Skywalker in the prequels, it pretty much ruined his life. So getting involved with a majorly successful franchise that goes beyond the actual cinema realm has some major effects, and it could be both psychologically inflicting, but you can also get stereotyped into a role that you just don't want to play that role anymore, but that's the only thing that people will cast you or think of you as. So there's more than just the fact that, he's been successful with this. What else can he do?
Which is probably why he shoved his hand up the ass of a dragon. That's a great way to get typecast, right?
I'm going to present a different perspective.
There's always that one too.
Oh, yeah.
I want to present a different perspective of, oh, no, I'm an actor, and I always dreamed of an actor, and now I've unfortunately ended up becoming famous, well-known, with an iconic role that'll be remembered well past my time. Oh, God, this isn't what I got into this for. Rich, famous, world-renowned? No, I want to be some half-ass running around doing bad lip dub. The ADR is horrible on Doolittle, by the way. It's like, dude, okay, if you want to be an actor, then you need to understand that the desirable, all the biggest celebrities have at least one role that is that huge iconic role they got that they did for a while and everybody saw them as for a long time. That's a part of getting really famous. There aren't a lot of actors who are known for their swapping hats. There's a few, But notice they're not as big as the ones who have the one iconic role. They're not as big as Schwarzenegger and Willis and Eastwood and for a while Robert Downey Jr. because that one role becoming a world-renowned thing is success. But you know what it is? I think that Hollywood is just a weird place, and people get so up their own tail and so eccentric that they literally start to dislike their own success and sabotage themselves.
I don't think it's just that, dude. I mean, I think it's also partially, look, so there's a lot of things that we do in our life that, it's awesome that we get good at it or something like that. But you don't always want to do that for the rest of your life. Like, you get a job. You might enjoy the job, but a job can get boring after a while doing the same job over and over. That's why a lot of people change between jobs, throughout their career. Things can get old. And,
but that's the thing. This role will naturally, eventually wear out on its own.
Well, it did. They killed him. It wore out.
But we'd watch more Iron Man if it came up. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with continuing to play a role until it naturally passes to someone else. Like till people actually go, okay, it's about time for us to get the protege or the new hero. But when I see actors try to prematurely cut off their own success, it's like, this is doing really good. I think it's got about another 2 movies in it. I don't want to do anymore.
Yeah, but judging that precise time to bail from something can be really hard. Bailing while you still have a good outlook on a character may be the best time to bail, especially when you're talking about a Marvel that may turn around and turn you into a horrible person in the next movie. You never know when they're going to destroy that character. So, I
agree with you. It's better to cut out while you're ahead as opposed to make a trash film and then you start losing fans like Star Wars has done.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you got me there. What they did to Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker. Oh my God, you're right. Nobody deserves that. Okay.
I'm waiting for another time to take a deeper dive into that subject. So we'll definitely pin that for later because before I really go off the deep end the way that I want to be able to confirm some of the things I've been reading and hearing lately. So we'll stick a pin in that one for maybe a different show.
In other words, as somebody that we both like to watch a lot of, take this with a grain of salt.
Oh, actually, no. I've got a couple of guys that are doing the same thing that I subscribed. I'm trying to get as much information, but I can't get it confirmed. So again, rumor. We don't want to spread a whole lot of that, but eventually it's going to get to the point where I'm going to just go on one of my Blood X Epic rants for the very first time, and it's going to be a hell of a show. So stay tuned for that.
I look forward to it. I'm tired of being the only person that looks insane.
But yeah. So anyway,
well, what you guys have seen me snap a couple of times in my life, and when I do, it's epic. So I try to hold it.
It's yes, it is. It's, but you want to know what though? But we all can agree this. Everything y'all said is reasonable, yes. But from there to colon fisting a dragon, I still think that's a bit too far into the new role. I think he could have come down from Iron Man to a respectable drama role or something, but he went straight into like friggin' Jim Carrey.
Well, no,
Doctor.
I will say,
Ace Ventura.
When you don't want to ruin your image as a actor, so you bail out of something early, you don't go right into a colonoscopy with a dragon.
Like you want to make sure whatever you do, you don't want people to think that's the only thing you can do, right? So I will still stick with that it's like, he was so bad in Dr. Dolittle. I was like, oh, my God, the ADR were bad. The movie's quality level was such a drop that I'm like, hey, man, you got some capital. Demand quality in whatever you do be in, though. Don't go from a AAA movie. I don't know if that term applies to movies.
You got to think.
To a crap B movie.
Yeah. You got to think Robert Downey Jr. thought that was a good movie, though. There's no way he didn't. Because of who he is and the clout he has after Marvel, there's no way he didn't get to pick the next movie he was in.
It's clear that he doesn't need to pick the movies he's in.
Because there's no way, man. There's no way somebody was just like, you have to do this movie.
The
No, it's
Dr. Dolittle,
fucking Robert Downey Jr., man.
the Dr. Dolittle franchise alone has never been big enough for it. Like, no Dr. Dolittle movie has been that good. So that's why I'm just like, none of them are blockbusters. So what were you expecting? You literally, it's like he almost said, my reputation's too big right now. Let me remind Hollywood what I'm really about. Y'all remember Tropic Thunder? Well, guess what? Oh, you've got something stuck in there. Big dragon fart in the face, just like a freaking 15-minute dragon fart, hair blown back, mouth open. And I'm just like, all right, Robert, you're right. You're not Iron Man anymore. I respect Iron Man too much. like wow, you wiped. He blew away the whole persona really fast. Next, he'll be in the next Adam Sandler movie now. Yep, Adam Sandler movie. He's gonna be in the next Adam Sandler movie. There's his new place. He's made his decision. Stop it.
All right, so let's go to a random encounter. You want to roll for us, Q?
Nah.
All right, I'll roll for us then. Screw you too, man.
Hey, man, your subjects suck. I'm not following that up. You clean up that mess. Robert Downey Jr.
For us.
Oh, yeah.
About a 10. MTFBWY.
What does that mean?
Motherfucking.
No, stop. First of all,
Dude,
may the force
I
be
will
with
fuck
you.
up the entire next week's random encounters if you do that again.
May the force be with you. Jeez.
May the force be with you. Okay.
And I don't even know I figured it out because I'm just not an idiot. Like, I looked at it, I saw Darth Revan, and I was able to do this thing called logic.
I was like, motherfucking black, white, yellow. I don't know.
There's a T in there.
All right.
Here's two
So is. May the force be with you. Is including Darth Revan.
Revan.
Revan, sorry.
You don't know Knights of the Old Republic?
I misread. Leave me alone, man. Is including Darth Revan in future films smart or lazy?
Killing our geek cred.
I'm gonna say lazy just because the whole Knights of the Whole Republic Revan thing should stay the game universe. They don't need to bring that into the movie universe. Leave it alone. Let the game universe expand on it if they want to. But there's no reason to bring it into the movie universe right now. You have so much you can do with this universe. I mean, Star Wars is this, huge galaxy far, far away that we have not fully expanded on yet.
Well, not at all.
So
no. We've only really had two stories almost in
so
it.
why pull from something that is already established and has its place with the fans over here and not do something new? I would like to see something new. I would like to see more games based on the Knights of the Old Republic where you can reference Revan more. But as far as the movies, nah, leave it alone.
Blood X, I'll let you go first.
Actually, the reason I added this in is because there's a new Funko line that came out with both Darth Malak and Darth Revan. So I thought that was kind of an interesting kind of time to pull out something that we haven't seen since the early 2000s. I'm not against bringing in some of those Sith back from the Old Republic, but I do agree with Zeno that there's so many other stories to tell. And the fact that we all three and a large portion of the Star Wars community has enjoyed The Mandalorian so much because it is such a smaller scope. It's more of a one man's travels through the galaxy. It's kind of like a space Western. So something like that would be more of an epic buildup at some point. But again, I think that would be much further down the line. Let's start small and see how it goes in the Old Republic era. But there are so many other great stories you can tell, everything from High Republic, Old Republic, all the way through, when Yoda was actually in diapers. There's so many other things you could do with it. But there's so much content that we have in the old Legacy series that they're talking about pulling from as well. That's kind of why I'm like, well, if they're going to go into there, I wonder if they're going to dive into this. but we'll see what happens because we haven't had anything officially announced, and we probably won't for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one more thing, and this builds off of what I was saying too. Another reason too for the game thing is the fact that it was a choice based game, and even if they make another game out of it, I want them to ask me the question, sort of like you see in Dragon Age and some other games. What did you do in the previous games, or what would you do in these choices, so that it's my world too. And if you go with the movies, you can't have my world that I played.
I have my own version of Darth Revan. That's my answer. And thus, I don't really want to see, because I enjoyed that game so much, it actually has a relevance with me that says I don't think they're going to portray Revan the way I played Revan. Now, here's what I wouldn't mind seeing. A remake of that game with some better, an updated combat mechanics and engine, maybe even an action RPG feel. I would love to play through Knights of the Republic 1 and 2 with updated engine, especially a little more actiony. I get more handsy in there with it.
Well, the game is old enough now where it wouldn't hurt to do that, so you can come back and do a third or
go through there. But I'd still rather play Revan than watch a show about Revan, which is how that connects. I'd much rather get a chance to play Revan again, even with a new engine. That's what I would prefer. I would prefer to play. I would love to get back in there. I know that's odd since I know all of the spoilers, but it was such a good game. I'll happily play through it a second time. And Knights of the Republic 2.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, and I don't know, and Zeno, you may have more knowledge about this than I would as far as gaming code goes. That was LucasArts. It's a company no longer even in existence anymore. Trying to translate that over into a new game, you'd be better off just rebuilding the entire game as opposed to updating it.
That's what I'm referencing. I'm sorry. That's what. Okay, I apologize if I misrepresented it.
Meant like they did with Final Fantasy VII, to where they just gave it a little polish and spit on it and shoved it out there.
That is not what they did. Wait a minute. Not the remake. The remake is an entirely new engine. They made it an action RPG.
Not the one I've been playing.
Well, you're playing Final Fantasy VII. You're not playing the Final Fantasy VII remake. You're playing the remastered. I didn't mean remastered. I meant remade with
okay. Yeah. My misunderstanding. I thought you, okay. Now we're on the same page. Yeah.
Like what's that game that came out recently? The little Jedi game with the guy that played Joker in Gotham. Maybe a little more RPG than that, but that would be kind of fun that I get behind the wheel of Revan and I get to really play out my character and have epic lightsaber battles with some of there were several iconic battles in KOTOR 1 and 2 that I would love to get, like I said, get actiony with. You know what I mean? Really get in there and I want to play KOTOR 1 and 2 again.
Actually, I played KOTOR 2 the other day. Actually, I had the disc. You weren't talking about Last Jedi, were you?
Yeah,
Fallen Order, were you?
Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, the game mechanics were clunky.
That's what I said.
It was fun. It was a fun play, but replayability like KOTOR,
No. It's way more way more action adventure than it is.
It also has
action
a party.
RPG.
You know what? Dragon Age Inquisition's engine wouldn't be bad though. That has a party-based engine. It could work.
Yeah.
Dragon Age Inquisition's engine and style could work for a KOTOR reboot.
Yeah, the engine wasn't bad. It was the hiccups and the glitches that were causing
I could get down with that. I could really get down with that. All right, so there we go. We told you how to do it. Go do it, people. Fix it. Fix it now.
All right. So Mulan, man. This is your story. You're gonna crap on mine. So how about you talk about Mulan?
Great segue. All right, then, everybody. Disney's Mulan has come out. For $30, you can watch a live-action version of not the Mulan that anyone likes or cares about. There are spoilers in here because it's almost impossible to talk about this without spoilers just because they changed the story so violently that I feel that you should cancel following us if I don't tell you what they did to this. Because if you go watch this after this, I don't want you to blame me. But basically, what we thought would be a live-action, more realistic Mulan story turned out to be a weird practice in not realistic. Like, they took out Mushu because they were like, we don't want that silly stuff. They put in chi magic. There's magic. That's a witch. That's a real witch. You see the claws?
They fucked my tomatoes up.
Very hard. They're not even tomatoes anymore. You know what I'm saying? They're tatoes. They went to Fallout. It's tatoes now. First of all, you know the wonderful story of Mulan, who wants to go to war in order to avoid her father's death. He's older. He's kind of handicapped. He's disabled. He can't really go to war. She goes in his place. She has to learn how to fit in and be a soldier. She has to train. It's difficult. The training's hard. It's scary. You know, she takes on this role in order to do this, to protect her family and try to protect the family honor. Yeah, none of that's in this movie almost at all. You see, Mulan's awesome. She was born with really, you know what, like yours, huge chi. It's so huge, her chi. She's got so much chi power. The movie starts with her as a kid able to do super kung fu. No training, it's just her chi's really powerful. So, first of all, no challenge. Training, there is no training. Hey, you need to do this training. Oh, I just use my chi. It's easy. I've got chi. I'm just a badass chi user. So first of all, she's a superhero. It's almost as though she was just born with more power than anyone else and is the bestest without any training or effort. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and this the article we have up on the screens from CNET, but one of the things they say is very similar to what I've seen across the internet as far as it's like, so it's ironic the animated, being that this was supposed to be a gritty retelling and a picture perfect cast, so it's ironic the animated version that debuted more than 2 decades ago still shows more vim, vigor, and character growth than the live-action big budget.
It's closer to the real story, and that's weird because the animated Disney Mulan is nothing like the real story, really. If you like, it's a dark story. The original Mulan story is kind of messed up, but what's messed up is that it has the heart, though. It has the heart, but it Disney-fies the ending of the story of Mulan. First of all, this isn't gritty. There's not really any death. Because it's Disney and it's like, I think PG-13, there's no real oomph to the combat. This witch character they throw in was thrown in for no logical reason. She can shapeshift and hex people. She's just this powerful witch. And then they try to play this whole, it's a man's world, it's hard to be a woman. No, it isn't. The 2 women we see have superpowers. It's like, as far as I can tell, you 2 can take over the world right now with your chi magic. Like, what are you worried about? You're the 2 most powerful beings in the movie. But they take out the entire conflict. Even the most important scene where she gets exposed and she gets rejected and she feels dishonored. Yeah, that's like 6 minutes. It's, hey, you, get out of here. You're a woman. Oh, comes back. Oh, you can lead our army now. Like, it's like they literally took the actual woman empowerment story that was integral to this and is the whole point out of the movie by just making the woman a superhero who really gets accepted insanely fast and goes through no major conflict. So they took the heart and soul out of this movie for no logical reason. And it's a crime. Huh?
Did you watch the remake of Lion King?
Yes, it was also soulless.
Did you watch the remake of Jungle Book?
Ugh, no, God, I got some standards.
So I watched both of those, and they're pretty much verbatim from the cartoons, which we all grew up and loved for the most part. So now that Disney goes off on a limb and goes, we're doing something completely new because people are bitching and complaining about just remaking our old shit back from the 80s and 90s. So now it's almost like they're damned if they do, they damned if they don't. But no, I agree with you. The fact that it's good they didn't just rehash the same story, same dialogue word for word. That's actually a good thing. But you're right. They should have made an empowerment story in the vein of like Resident Evil with Alice. They didn't force feed a female hero down our throats. It was natural.
In the first one.
Yes, the first. Well, yeah, that's the only one that actually makes the difference is the first one. But that and Ripley with Aliens, and there's ways to incorporate a strong female character, but do it organically, not force-fed.
Well, do you want to know what's a better Mulan story?
Well, the
Crouching
sad
Tiger,
thing,
Hidden Dragon.
yeah, The sad thing is I've even heard Mulan used as an example of woman empowerment done right. Organically. So they took a story that matched what a lot of the the voices out there are wanting. They took the perfect story that was done already, and then they fucked it up.
And they don't have Chang. Like, it's just a lot of mess up. No, dude, like, literally, here's the movie where none of us would have complained if Mulan was awesome. Because we went there. I saw the trailer and I said, I can't wait to the end of the movie where after all the training, she's a kung fu badass. I want her running through friggin' Mongols. By the way, they don't even call them Mongols. They call them like morons or something. It's weird, like some other word, because they're scared to use the word Mongols. I mean, they just really mess it up. But I actually wanted this movie to end because it looked like Conjuring Dragon, with her being bullcrap at the end, where she just running, tink, 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 tink. I wanted that. But they took the soul away from that. I'm like, how did you screw up this movie where I wanted to watch this character become overpowered at the end? And you know how you did it? You start the movie going, she's already overpowered for no reason. Do you know how they could have fixed it?
In charge?
Do you know how they could have easily? Do you know how easily they could have changed this? Take the witch character. This is how you keep all the characters in it. But what you do is you show her before she became like this, because she got ran out of society for her weird powers, as a younger woman teaching a young girl how to fight. And you see this girl who goes out to her house, and she teaches her sword fighting and how to channel her chi, and you have a montage. Later on, that girl's grown up, but she's hidden her training because her master got exiled for having these weird powers because she was a woman. Now you come back, she meets her master again. Her master's coming back to destroy the people that exiled her. She has to face her master. There's a reason she's a badass, because she actually Now look what I did. Literally, that's very little change to what's in this movie that makes it better. But Disney couldn't even put in the effort of a effing montage and a few seconds of more story. But this is terrible because the heart is gone. And in the other movies, they were carbon copies. This one, they changed it, but they changed it by making it not an empowerment movie for women. There's nothing to look up to for Mulan. It isn't a case of any woman can be strong. No, they can't. You have to be born special. It's Atlas Shrugged. It's like, no, you have to be born with superior chi. Otherwise, you're like the other few background women and you're powerless. It's like she didn't triumph. She was just born a mutant. She's effing Storm or something. No, she's a mutant who has special powers, and that's what's special
Storm
about her.
at least had a rough background that she had to struggle out of, and
the Shadow King.
Yeah,
damn man, you're right. I can't even. Ray. You know what? I hate to say this. No. I know. I'm gonna defend Ray. Don't hate me, Blood Axe. I have to do it. I'm gonna defend Ray. At least Ray's parents are dead, and she's been abandoned on a fucking planet and had to scavenge. I hate to say it, but Rey has some kind of a tragic backstory and has faced some hardship. Mulan grew up in a happy family with superpowers. That's pretty much it. Like, she's not got any conflict. And then also they overdid her dad. Even I was just going like, I'm sorry, but I was like, wow. Like, when he walks in there, he's just like, I can't even walk. I'm like, okay. Her dad in the animated show was old. Mulan's dad in this one is like a one-legged beggar. Huh?
I said Ray's story may not be entirely accurate. Stay tuned for 2022, 2023.
Okay, well, before they make her story even worse, I mean, geez. All I'm saying is that they made Mulan a superhero, which I wouldn't have minded if it was a progress over the course of the movie. But instead, they said she was born special. And I'm like, that's beautiful, but that ruins the whole concept of Mulan. Mulan wasn't born special. Mulan had the determination to become a great warrior. She had the heart. She had the grit.
Where's the hero's journey? Where's the humbling aspect? I mean, 6 minutes of humbling is not a humbling trial of any kind of fire whatsoever.
Where's
in
the
order
threat?
for us to invest into a character, they have to have some kind of conflict and some kind of being brought back down to earth so we can actually identify with them. No one is perfect. No one has these powers, so we can't really identify with these characters. So how can we root for them?
I was born with special chi powers. It's like, yeah, because here's the thing. What's the conflict of her going to war? What's she scared of? She's got super chi. There's no threat. In the original Mulan, I was scared for Mulan. There were several times that you saw her look at like the Huns in a situation, and you suddenly realized this is dangerous. They were even darker. Remember the famous part where he goes, he's got the 2 messengers running off that he told them, don't tell the emperor we're coming. And he goes, how many people does it take to send a message? And you see the archer pull the arrow, and then it switches scenes.
One.
It was grittier in the cartoon. How did you fail to be grittier than the Disney cartoon your live action is based? Hold on, that is so sad. Like honestly, the Hunt scared the crap out of me to this day. Like when I played Kingdom Hearts, one of the scariest parts, I think it was Kingdom Hearts 2, was facing off against the Huns, and I was playing a kid with a magic weapon, and I was still like, the Huns are scary, man. But yeah, so basically this movie is not something to take your daughter to see. She's not going to associate with it because your daughter doesn't have magic powers. And neither does any woman. So she's already alienated everybody. That's enough. All right. The key part is it sucks. It's going to be free in a few months. So if you want to watch it, do not pay $30. You think I'm kidding? Go watch the reviews. This is not any kind of politically based. You know us, we're right in the middle. But I watch people on every side of the fence, and every side of the fence has said this movie sucks. So even if you disagree with most of my opinions, this movie still sucks. This is one of the few times I'll say, you can hate everything I say, I'm still right about that. Because I like Mulan. I wanted Mulan to end that movie as a kung fu god. But I wanted her to get there. I wanted to watch her once again show the reward, show what her determination and courage could accomplish to get there, not just be born special, and thus there's no threat and there's no trial.
And I'll qualify your assessment by the fact that all of my friends and everyone I've met, you actually subscribe more to the Japanese culture than anybody that I know. You've read all the books, you've watched the movies, even the ones that are subtitled, and try to figure out yourself. Even when we played tabletop, you kept wanting to play Oriental games. I kept pushing against you, but you know what? We did it anyway, and I went along with the ride, and you really got into it. So the fact that you're this critical of it means that they've actually failed in a lot of those Oriental aspects that we've actually kind of grown to appreciate, or at least those that enjoy Oriental culture. Which is another failing of Disney recently, which is kind of sad and scary. But we'll see what happens down the road. But you're taking again something from our childhood that we enjoyed and you shit on it. And Doomcock said it best that when you get woke, you get broke. Hopefully they'll realize that when you do this kind of stuff, that you're pissing off people that buy your shit and watch your films. So maybe they'll go back to creating good content that we can all enjoy and stop with all this, woman power business. Make a female character that we can invest in and we can get behind because of the conflict she's in and the story she's put in, and not because she's Superwoman.
And that's the sad part is I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, I get what if y'all want to know why he's coming at, he knows that normally if a movie has chi in it, cues like giddy. I'm an Asian cinephile, especially Chinese cultivation, wuxia, xianxia. I even got Zeno into it. He's read a few. He likes it. And that's why when I looked at him and I said, yeah, she's just born powerful chi, he's like, cultivation takes work. And we're like, I know. Like, the very concept of cultivating, like, you have to cultivate your chi. It's hard. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Don't get me started on a weird wuxia rant.
You didn't shut up for weeks. For weeks, when you heard Ong Bak was coming out, you didn't stop talking about it. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Ong Bak, boy, one of the best Muay movies in the world. Dog, I love Muay. But yeah, so yeah, go watch that. It's better. You know what? There's actually, I might make a list. There's a bunch of. Oh, you know what? We're not going to just go to war with Disney. You know what? Just don't watch Mulan. It's not worth my effort. We're giving Disney too much attention they don't deserve. So.
Let's get another random encounter in here.
I like the way they fired the black man, too. They got rid of Mushu. You know what I'm saying? See that? Oh, yeah. We're real inclusive.
I like Mushu.
Well, yeah, a lot of people actually ended up missing him from the movie, even though people didn't mind it at first because the movie was so boring and dull. They're like, damn, I wish there was a little Eddie Murphy drag in just to spice this up.
Actually, when Eddie Murphy's played sidekick animal characters between Mushu and the donkey and Shrek, he actually did a good job with some of his freelance comedy.
Yeah, Yeah, that's true. His voice is hilarious. All right, we
Oh,
ready?
Yeah. Roll it. 19. Blood Axe's Deep Thoughts.
Oh, shoot.
Search for Ezra Bridger.
Okay, all right. So, hey, I wasn't expecting you to pull this one up, but so I do have a list of my deep thoughts that I have on our shared drive. So, one of the things, and I guess and those of you who don't know who Ezra Bridger is, if you have Disney Plus, you can go check out the Rebels Star Wars series. It's basically taking place before New Hope. And actually, the first one's called The Spark of the Rebellion, which is where the rebellion is supposed to begin. First couple of seasons were really good, but when you'll see the face Q makes in it here in a second, but when they got to the world between worlds and that kind of stuff, it got really sideways really fast. There he is. There's Ezra. So
that
in
character.
Star Wars, you actually see Ezra grow up from a rogue on the street, waiting for his parents to come home, who, spoiler alert, they never come home, to it being taken on by a Jedi who survived Order 66, who was blind, and goes off to become a Jedi who gets actually tempted by the dark side of the Force with Darth Maul. But overall, it was actually a really good series. Well, in the
his
end
master's
of the
not
final
blind.
episode, do what?
His master's not blind. He wasn't in the
Jarrus?
beginning.
Oh, he's blind. Well, not in the beginning now, but he was blinded at the end of the first season.
Oh, okay. That I
Actually,
can see
he's
happening.
wearing a mask most of the time, but he does take it off from time to time. But no, Kanan is blind, and he tries to
spoilers.
teach.
Good job. I hadn't got to that part. Thanks, Blood Axe.
Oh, dude, this is old. I mean,
Go ahead, man.
No, this was actually, we would DVR the Rebels, and me and my kids would watch it on Sundays. No, we actually could not wait to watch Rebels. It was actually a good show until it got strange, but neither here nor there. Watch out for the Force Wolves. That's weird too. Anyway, so yeah, Lothal, man, can't wait to play that one in another KOTOR game. So fast forward to the end of the actual series, to where Ezra goes off to deep space, and Sabine and Hera are supposedly going to go track him down. And as a fan, I always thought that was as kind of a cliffhanger for a future series. Well, Resistance came out instead, and that was just a terrible idea for a show. They tried to make it for kids, and they dumbed it down so much that even the kids wouldn't watch it because it was so boring. But one of the things that I always thought would be interesting, and actually one of my theories originally was that Snoke was Ezra in The Force Awakens, which that didn't come out to be true. It was a thought, because he was tempted by the dark side several times throughout the series. Between Darth Maul and even Ahsoka Tano was like, yeah, something's not right about him. But because he had anger issues, and he had a hard time controlling it. So I could see that in a similar path that we saw Anakin Skywalker go down. And that would have made sense, because he went off to the far reaches. What if he came back with Imperial tech and then took over with the First Order after the fall of the Empire? Well, no. Rian Johnson gave us the finger on that one, and J.J. Abrams cleaned up his mess. Well, he tried to anyway. So I am really curious as to how they could take this female duo and actually track down Ezra, and what has become of him. Has he become another Darth Revan out in the outer reaches, or has he become a Luke Skywalker and actually cut himself off from the Force, or has he started on Jedi Academy, which could lead into future films? Because the character actually, when you watch him from a kid all the way through his training, you do become invested with him as a character. And it's really interesting to see him struggle between what's right and what he wants to do. There's a lot of things that he's trying to do is basically protect his home. Because the Empire's basically invaded Lothal, and they are taking all the resources. They're basically subjugating a lot of the citizens there. It's martial law, and he's fighting back the best way he can, but he doesn't have a whole army. It's just him and a couple of ragtag bands of misfits that are, one happens to be a Jedi, one's a Mandalorian who likes to blow stuff up, and then you have a Zabrak who Q would actually love, because he beats people down with a double-ended stick. Anyway,
so
so
here's the question: is like, what exactly though are you saying on this? Is like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a live action continuation, animated continuation?
I would love an animated continuation, but in the Clone Wars style. Because when you went from the Clone Wars animation down to Rebels, it was a step down in quality. And then Resistance was even further down the quality line. I want a good investment by Lucasfilm to make a continuation in animation, and depending on the popularity, would not mind seeing it come to live action at some point. Just like with Ahsoka Tano. I mean, there's a lot of rumblings that, from going from animation, she's going into The Mandalorian season 2. Okay, cool.
Well, it could be they could throw him in that Bad Batch when it's coming out with or Bad Batch or Bad Squad. The clone Bad Batch. That could be interesting if he popped up in there.
66, he would be older by then. I mean, he would be probably 30, 40 years old as opposed to being in his early 20s.
Well, I mean, from what I've seen, they kind of did that.
Fast forward, but I'm more interested in the immediate aftermath of what happened when he left. Where did he go? What did he do? Same thing with after Return of the Jedi. What happened when Luke defeated when Vader defeated Palpatine in the Rebellion 1? Well, we only saw glimpses in flashbacks in The Force Awakens, but what was Luke Skywalker's attempt to rebuild the Jedi Academy actually like?
Well, so we're going to have to see what Disney does.
They could have done even with The Force Awakens that they could do with this, because you have some good story threads and you have hopefully a better team taken over in Lucasfilm, with Kathleen Kennedy getting the axe on all her projects except for one. And, poor Headland. I mean, she's in a rude awakening when no one wants to watch her female power Brie Larson TV series. So I would really love to see what happens with Ezra. It's one of those characters that even my son wanted to dress up as Halloween as. I bought him an Ezra Bridger Halloween costume.
Cool.
So we have a lot of investment here, but it's also not a character that probably a lot of people that aren't hardcore Star Wars fans are even familiar with.
All right.
Yeah, sadly, I can't add much to this conversation. So, but it all sounds interesting.
Star Wars content somehow.
Yeah.
Could be interesting to see maybe a limited series. If they were going to do it, I'd rather it be like they call it. They go like, we're going to do 7 episodes. We're going to do 5 episodes. We're going to cover this. Because honestly, I'm starting to really become a fan of lockdown series where they're like, we got a story. We're not going to try to make 1,000 seasons out of this, or 1,000 episodes and 9 seasons. We're just going to we're going to do 12 episodes. We're going to tell this story. I think Star Wars would really benefit from episodic. I really do.
Yes.
For these sides. Just episodic. Nah, we're done. Here's this. Especially when they jump back to that time period where you can only do so much with what happened during the New Republic or the Empire times. Because if not, you break the canon. How many freaking Jedis can you have survive before it starts looking like the Empire really should have never rose because there was way too many Jedis? The body count. That was the only problem with the expanded universe I had. By the time they were done, there were so many Jedi running around that you started to be like, none of you Jedi Masters could have went and took care of the Emperor, because there's like 30 of you out there, and you're all Jedi Master rank. And how many times are you going to find that one gifted kid runs into the Jedi Master? That is a dang near a trope. Oh, look, there's one Jedi Master left, and he ran across this kid who's really strong in the Force. So that was the only flaw in expanded universes. Everybody wanted to do their self-insert fan character, and it got a little messy. I'm really going to say this, and then we need to jump to your official topic. But I'd rather you go to the Old Republic or you jump to the New Republic. I'm tired of the Empire time frame. Leave it be. I don't want any more stories that happen between the prequels and, Return of the Jedi. I don't. Unless it's about the Return of the Jedi. I don't want to hear about the other people running around. I'd rather hear Old Republic or sequel. The reason why is because you're squeezing too much in and you're starting to break up the atmosphere. Because, the whole point is they killed all the Jedi. That's the dark thing. And none of these characters showed up to help Obi-Wan and Yoda And they start to look like a-holes as the numbers of them grow. And it's like, because, I mean, think about it. There's a point where it had to be heard, hey, man, they blew up the Death Star. Maybe we should come out and help them finish off the Empire. So just go to the new time frame line or go way back. Leave that alone. Like they're trying to stuff too much into one burrito. That burrito is bursting at the seams. You know what I mean?
I partially agree with you. I do agree that the smaller scale episodic series is something that I can definitely get behind. Like the Kenobi series, it's supposed to be like a 1 season, 8 series. I mean, there's so much you can only do on Tatooine when you're watching a kid. But having the hero's journey or the Western in the stars type of situation to where it's episodic, you have a couple of characters you invest in, and then you move on to the next story. I think that can have value in any timeline, and it doesn't have to affect the canon, and they don't have to all be Force users. Look at the Mandalorian, not a Force user, very interesting bounty hunter. He's off doing his thing. Of course, they did throw in Yoda, Baby Yoda, so that's a different story. But having situations to where, you're following maybe the bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back. Why was Zuckuss such a good bounty hunter? Following some of those stories or new characters with similar stories, but not as grand of a scope, but still good stories nonetheless. I mean, hell, from The Mandalorian with his teammates he joined up with for one mission, what was their background story? They seemed to actually be pretty good together, but what had they done in the past to call them to fall out from each other? So there's ways you can get around it, but I agree with you, having super overpowered Force Jedi Masters is probably not the way we want to go, although we love the prequels because there was such a strong Jedi presence, such a strong use of Force powers that we didn't have in the original trilogy.
Well, no, I said you can go
backwards in time to see the High Republic and see how the Jedi Council became to be what it was.
Now, that would be good.
Or how it was much more powerful, but kind of lessened, which we saw the powers dwindling in the prequel trilogy. How do they get to that point? That's a great story. Or fast forward 1,000 years after the Rise of Skywalker, what were the seeds that Luke Skywalker planted, and what did Rey make of the Jedi after the final defeat of the First Order? So there's a lot of different things you could do, but yes, from a grandiose perspective, I think either really, really old or fast forward to the future.
Because like I said, I mean, a perfect example is, and for those out there, my beloved geeks that like Team 4-Star, there's a joke in there they do for Frieza, for those who know Dragon Ball Z, where he says, man, he sees Piccolo and Namekian, he sees Goku is saying, and there's Vegeta and all that. He says, man, I'm starting to think I'm losing my touch for genocide. There's a point where there's so many Saiyans left in Dragon Ball Z that you're like, man, Frieza sucks at wiping out a race. Well, it's the same thing for like the Emperor. It's like at some point you're like, man, you're terrible at hunting down Jedi if there's that many of them out there. Like, you're like, he starts to become a joke because you've got like so many Jedi running around after his supposed genocide. So, like, stop stuffing that time frame. Now, the High Republic, that's a good one. I would like to see how the Jedi rose to their position. That would be a story that seemed it would be interesting, especially because people had to be nervous at first. Because Old Republic played it out like people were kind of nervous of the Jedi, possibly because, they have magic powers and mind control. But,
well, the whole Darth Revan war, I mean, everybody was fearful of the Jedi because the Jedi basically came in and took over, again, with martial law. We're fighting this war against the Sith, and you got to do what we say because we know what we're doing.
They did a number on the Mandalorians, too, boy. Whew.
Which time? But, yeah, I mean, Mandalore, oh, my gosh. But... yeah, how did they overcome what happened in the Old Republic in the High Republic to get back to such a place of power?
We're losing Zeno.
Yeah. I think we need to go and wake him up. Actually, there's a wolf spider. Actually, there's 3 of them to see. For those of you that haven't seen it, check out our YouTube channel. I loaded a video of me fighting 3 back-to-back wolf spiders.
Yeah, he switched to grounded, everybody, just so you know. Like, subject has switched to grounded. You get to see him go. You know what? We should go back and put the Star Wars battle music on it. Dun, 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 as he takes it out, and then get demonetized immediately. That boy, I don't even think that thing would get past the. We might get demonetized for that part I just did.
Oh no. You weren't that good.
I thought it was hardcore, man. I mean, listen, you fight 3 wolf spiders back.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about Q.
He said I didn't do the theme song well enough.
No, your wolf spider fight was awesome.
What's bad is the video, for some reason, cut out the fact that I killed a ore weaver right before then, a ladybug who went through the wolf spiders. So I fought 5 enemies back to back to back to back.
Yeah. Twitch, Xbox's Twitch app and Grounded don't seem to like each other much.
But in its defense, unlike No Man's Sky, it is a beta.
True.
Fair enough.
And it's also free on Game Pass, so
yeah.
There's that other part. It isn't like you have to pay money for it, and it isn't like you bought a game and then a little bit later it's $10
What
cheaper.
I figure is what happened is Microsoft, when they were developing the game, they were like, oh, we should make this work better with Mixer, and then Mixer,
Yeah, we know how Mixer. What happened to Mixer?
Obsidian made the game. It wasn't Microsoft.
Oh, was it not Microsoft?
No, it was Obsidian. The people
right,
made Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, but I mean, Microsoft when they added it to their little pass thing, they got to put that in there for them.
Yeah, what the heck is Baldur's Gate 3?
Just that one game, he slipped that little code there to break it on Twitch.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass because I haven't contributed for a bit.
That's why I tried to do my. I tried to do
join
my
me on Grounded. Then we can go fight some stuff together.
But
I got some ladybugs to go kill.
I don't think you had a specific topic this time. I don't see one on our list. So.
It's all right. We talked about Star Wars for about half an hour. So
well, it would have been the subject that we were talking about earlier, but because of time, and also I knew that Q's topic Mulan would probably go on longer than we thought.
Yeah.
I may pin it for next week, but I do want to get some more resources, or at least some more cite some more sources before I actually dive into what I want to dive into.
All right.
Because I don't want to dive off the deep end off something and then, a month later, well, Blood Axe is an idiot because it has nothing to do with actually what happened in real life. So.
Yeah, well, and I know we've spouted off some speculation here in the past.
You know how wrong we are? Last time we said that Chadwick Boseman was in Tenet. He is not. Like that. We're wrong all the time.
Oh, is he not? I thought he was in Tenet.
No, apparently I watched a review of it and some other dude, like we all look alike.
Well, no, I mean somebody.
He was working on another movie. I didn't know the name of it, but it was not Tenet.
Okay, well, somebody had told me it was Tenet. Is why I had brought it up. So
well, that person also look alike.
I should verify facts before saying things. All right, that's good to know.
That does not change the fact that we need Miles Morales as Black. The next
no, that doesn't
awesome.
change that at all.
I want that.
That was a good idea.
What was Chadwick Boseman working on before?
I know he was working on something, yeah, and I just don't remember what it was. But he had a movie that he was working on in between, Black Panther 1 and 2, like before Black Panther 2 was going to come out. And I was fairly sure. Let's see.
Okay, so after Endgame, let's see, he was in 21 Bridges, The Five Bloods, and then the 2 that haven't come out yet.
Oh, that's it. It was The Five Bloods was pretty cool, man.
Okay.
That was pretty cool.
My Rainey's Black Bottom.
That's that, oh, dang it. I'm having trouble. Spike Lee joint, the Five Bloods.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I remember that. That was an interesting movie, and Chadwick Boseman was awesome in that. And like I said, no signs, like it looked perfectly healthy, man. Just really, like I said, this all was very much a surprise.
Then he was supposed to be in something called Yasuke, but it being its pre-production.
Yeah, they completed the other one though. The Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that at least got completed. So I'm assuming that's still going to be released despite the situation. But yeah, so there are some actual things. If you want to see something, we're expecting that. I'm assuming that since it says it's completed, it's going to be out. So look forward to that. When it comes out, you'll hear more because if it's Chadwick Boseman's last movie,
definitely.
it's
definitely.
But if you want to see something in between, then check out The Five Bloods by Spike Lee. Storm and Norman is Chadwick, and you get to see him in that kind of cool role again. He's a pretty cool dude in there, and a soldier. He's a badass. So there you go.
Okay.
But I wanted to throw that out because it'd been bugging me that I found out like we had misquoted that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Do we want to do the last random encounters, or do you want to talk about The Last of Us? Like,
what? You can get it now for $29.99 used already. It's already
$29
for used.
19?
No, used.
Yeah,
used.
yeah.
It's $10 off for the new copy and half off for the used copy, which really supports the claims that people said there was a mass amount of used copies. Because think about it, even when a really popular game. When a game's really popular and it came out in just June, a used copy would still actually usually be kind of high. But this one's already chopped down to half
normally,
price.
like you go to GameStop or something, the used copy is only
$10
about
cheaper.
$5 or $10 less than the new. So.
But in this case, they've already put it on sale, knocked $10 off the new copy, knocked $30 off the used copy.
This seems to be a GameFly that's doing the used copy for $29.99.
I've seen it cheaper on Amazon, dude. There's some people practically trying to give it away. Those people that didn't just take a pair of scissors to their copy of the game.
Amazon is selling the game new for $50, normally $60. But
there you go, $10 off. So no, it's $10 off across the board, man. Like no place I saw was charging full price. And the interesting thing is that I actually did say, like I thought it supposedly sold really well according to them. So why is it dropping off so fast in price? My guess is that they're trying to egg another group of sales, because the thing that people don't want to talk about is, it may have sold well, but this game was expensive, dude. They mocapped a lot of this game. Like, The Last of Us 2 is not cheap.
Yeah, but it still had crap ton of pre-sales, dude. Maybe the long run.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it wasn't profitable. I'm saying
sales.
They're trying to push it because they want to make it look like they did a good job. They want this to be the top seller. So I think they're trying to eke out. It's like when they put Avengers Endgame in the movie theater a second time.
Don't you really want that with every game, though? You do. Don't you want to try to get every bit of money you can get?
But
out
they
of any
need
game?
this to be a big success to prove that that go woke, go broke isn't true. So because dude, everything else is not working. All the other woke stuff's failing. The Last of Us 2 is our only hope to go. Look, we went woke and we didn't go broke. Because the movies they put out that are woke are failing.
I don't think the sales for 2 is going to prove anything. Now, when you make a 3,
3, yeah,
that's where. Because you already had a popular game. It's hard, when it comes to sequels, and people don't keep up with, like, most people didn't know anything about all the stuff that was happening with The Last of Us 2. It's still a small portion of your population that actually goes and looks at these news and reviews for new games.
Most of them didn't find out until after they bought it, unfortunately. They tricked a lot of people.
So the thing with that is you're not going to see the actual and if they don't plan on doing a 3, well, they won, dude. They won.
Oh, yeah, they won. They
won.
gotcha. Well, this is why, like, we try to do this. This is why I did the Mulan thing. Like, I try to come out and warn you, man. I'm following these games. I try to jump out and tell people, yo, this is a trash fire. Don't spend your money. Because I hate to see people get cheated because, man, this will make you almost not like games, man. A couple of these, if you buy a couple of these bad games, man, you could get a bad taste in your mouth real easy. I know that several bad purchases in a row has made me not buy games for, like, months because I just get fed up.
Yeah.
So, it happens. It happens. And I don't want to see that happen to the industry I love. Already comics is dead, except for Keanu Reeves' Berserker. Go check it out. It's already been kickstarted. Buy it. And I'm saying that because everybody's
Or
mad,
you can pick it up at your local comic book store.
Yes, it will be.
It's
a graphic novel. Awesome. Immortal warrior tries to find out the purpose of existence. Yeah, no, we're not sponsored. I just like Keanu Reeves, and people are mad at him because. Well,
I think anytime a big project comes out for comic books and stuff like that, that's a good thing for the industry. Yeah, maybe your comic book did not do so hot, but anytime a comic book does hot, it's going to have people go, well, hey, man, this was really cool. Let me go see what else is out there. Maybe I can find something else that's really cool.
That's how comic books people become comic book fans.
Yeah.
They read one comic book and said, that was awesome. What else is out there? That's how manga started. You read a manga and went, this is pretty good. I'm going to go check out some more.
I mean, we can see how big manga is now. I remember when you had to go to really obscure places to find any manga.
It was tucked in the corner.
Now there's like a whole row of it at Books A Million or Barnes and Noble.
It's mixed in with self-help books and weird crap. Like, they didn't know what the hell to do with it. It would just be stuck somewhere. I remember it used to be like, I wonder what weird location they put their manga in. And they're like,
be in the corner somewhere on the bottom shelf. You'd have like 5 or 6.
Be over there next to like Asian cuisine and how to speak Japanese, like just weird sections. Oh,
I mean, it used to be a very obscure. Then enough people started watching anime, started reading manga, stuff like that, and they were like, oh, this is really cool. Let me go find more. Why is it hidden over here in this corner, at the bottom shelf?
You should make a section for this.
And, eventually the stores and vendors get asked enough about something. Because even before, it used to not even be able to find it in stores. Like, I remember when Books A Million didn't carry any manga. You know where you found manga? Cons. That was
you
the only
ordered
place
it online.
Well,
and it was easier to order porn. Like, it was harder to find manga and get it sent to you.
Well, I mean, even then, online ordering at that point wasn't as big of a thing either.
Mm-hmm.
You had to rely on vendors at these conventions and stuff like that.
I'm just laughing. Remember finding the weird manga here and there, and like somebody accidentally ordered it. It's just like, remember, you just see like a single manga sitting on a shelf by itself.
Yeah, you could usually go to your local comic shop and they could specialty order some of it for you. But anyway, the point being, it does not hurt the industry for somebody who is popular, has the community eye on them to do something.
Now, to show how backwards we are, now let's explain why we're saying that. Is because Keanu Reeves' comic book and himself have come under fire by indie comic book artists who are mad because he had a successful Kickstarter.
Or did we skipped that one last week?
No, we didn't talk about Berserker. But basically, it got caught. It got some bad press because of its popularity. And due to that, it's been, I don't think these people understand how Kickstarter works, because Keanu Reeves' Kickstarter project's not taking money away from other comic book artists. People don't go, I'm only going to support 2 things on Kickstarter. People support what they're interested in. So it's no way tied together. But he's came under fire because they're like, oh, he's big, he's rich, and the company has a bunch of money. Why are they Kickstarting it? They're Kickstarting it because they can, sucker. Anybody can start a Kickstarter. You can start a Kickstarter to buy yourself a new pair of shoes. Yeah. Shut up. Like, don't be mad because your salty crap ain't working. What? Did your promise to not rape people not get you a lot of business? Remember that weird oath junk we covered where they had the weird pledge? I'm like, why are you pledging things that you should know you shouldn't do? It's like, I don't have to make a pledge to not commit rape because I'm not gonna do it.
Don't say that word too many times. We'll get pulled off of YouTube when we post this, man.
But you get my point. Is that this salty crybaby? Oh, he's making money and I'm not, so I'm mad and I'm gonna blame him. It's like, blame yourself. Because guess what? Mm-hmm. If you put something interesting on Kickstarter, you will get backed. Well, nobody else's project's going to affect it. You need to have something interesting. Your project sucks.
I mean, you
failed at life.
I will probably pick this up at the comic shop. It'd probably go right next to my comic book that Rob Zombie did. So
it seems interesting. I'll take a look at it.
It's called Nail.
It has a weird, the way they draw him and stuff, it gives me a weird Old Man Logan feel.
Well, it's also very John Wick-ish, If
John Wick was a mutant, it was a Highlander.
I mean, it's that tough guy action.
Berserker, man. Yeah. With no vowels. It's like BZRKR, by the way, so you know. Here, give him a link. Give him a link so you can go find it. Yeah, we're going to put the link in the chat. But, yeah, man, to me, I just thought that's why we were talking about the whole how it's good for the industry. It's right now, you need successful comics, period. Successful graphic novels. Comic book stores need this. So, like wipe away your tears and make something good so the comic book stores can stay open. Like, you need to be focused on your own projects and being successful. Stop going off and bothering Ethan Van Sciver and Keanu Reeves and Umbrella Guy, everybody else who's managing to actually make money. If you're not making money, it is your fault, because it's possible to make money if your stuff is interesting. Go to Kickstarter. I'm pretty sure I could pull up 5 or 6 different Kickstarters easily for comic books that got their money. You'd make something worthwhile.
Interesting to FaceTime, that's for sure.
So, I mean, and if you're spending your energy busy being mad about other people's success instead of trying to be successful, you will not be successful. I mean, there you go, man. And I just found it hilarious that they're so busy on his Kickstarter being pissed off that his Kickstarter's doing well that they're not even, coming up with anything of quality of their own. What? Nobody wanted to see your book about this, okay, I was about to say something real ugly. Whew. Made my will save, everybody. I was about to go off there. Those next words were toxic. Let's just say, come up with something people want to read. For example, I want to read about this immortal berserker warrior who's been in wars all his life and doesn't know the source of his power. I don't want to read about whatever weird thing you came up with, and take that as you want. That's as far as I'll go.
I will say, man, for a graphic novel, this thing looks pretty thick, too.
I know, right?
She said.
But that's the thing. A lot of the comments I saw were people who are in the comic book industry talking about how much they get per comic, and they were mostly mad because of this right here. They're like, man, he's making. For one, this right here is not representative to how much they're making off this project either.
Yeah, they're making a lot more
once
than that.
cost comes out of this thing, there's not much of probably.
Well, that's a Kickstarter.
left.
They're going to make more once it hits the shops too.
2,
like I said,
well, even shops. I mean, once you sell at the shops, you're selling the shops at a fraction, and then the shops are making money off of it as well. Everybody gets their cut.
Also, let's be honest. Oh my God, you're shocked that a Kickstarter that has one of the most popular and well-liked celebrities did well? Shut up. Of course it did. It's Keanu Reeves. It's gonna do well as a Kickstarter. There are people who kickstarted this that don't read comics.
Well, yeah,
they're just like Keanu Reeves.
But that's sort of the point. The point is to get people who don't normally read comics into something, and maybe into comic shops, so that comic that you didn't make a lot of money off of maybe will get into more hands and you'll make more money.
Yeah. But I mean, we know indie comic book artists who are doing really well, have done really good on Kickstarter, man. They're getting a lot of Tuskegee Airs is really awesome, and I love it. Artwork is amazing on that, and lots of support, man, all over the place. I mean, it's
doable. I mean, we know indie artists. I mean, we know people who are in mainstream comic, and we know they struggle. We know they don't get a lot of money. They do a lot of other things to subsidize that by going to cons and by doing commission work and stuff like that. It's a rough industry. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that QQ, but the thing is just because somebody is successful at it, because they're maybe using their fame in some other area, that's not something you should be jealous of or are mad about. You should be glad that the industry is getting some extra clout. Somebody is coming in and giving the industry clout. Yeah, you're not you're not Keanu Reeves. I'm not either. Trust me.
But getting more comic book readers. Zeno said it perfect in that the comic book industry is a industry as a whole, and more readers is more money for everyone. So you want success. I never said this before, but for a long time, I have kind of noticed that the comic book industry is filled with a lot of spite. Like, a lot of people hate other people and hate other people's success. You want to know drama. Like, the comic book industry is filled with a lot of cross hate, man. And you are just like, there is almost nobody you can't walk up to that works in the comic industry and be like, yo, who do you hate? And they not be able to pop off a list of people they hate. Usually people doing better than them. So it is like, that's got to stop, because that's going to harm the industry as a whole, because it's the bucket of crabs, man. The problem with that is nobody gets out the bucket.
Well,
Except Keanu. Keanu's already out the bucket.
I think we're losing Blood Axe now. So
now Blood Axe is going to sleep on us. He's playing grounded. You don't know it. He's got a controller in his hand right now.
No, I'm updating next week's random encounter list.
Well, we've been going at this for an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm guessing it's about time to wrap up. Look, thanks guys for watching. We hope you enjoy. Of course, we do this every week. We try to keep it going, keep it alive. Not put people to sleep.
You're starting to sound like a comic book industry indie person, man. Yo, check us out on
Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. You can go to Dicejunkies.com. There's a link to everywhere we can be found online there. Go to YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check us out every Sunday at 3:30 on Twitch. We also do some gaming throughout the week. Usually that's Blood Axe over there playing Grounded or Gears or whatever is the current drug of choice. But thanks for watching, guys.
If y'all have an idea, hit me up, especially because on Game Pass, because I'm running out of games to play at the moment. So you should see my crazy builds in Grounded right now when I can get it to stream correctly.
Well, you consume
weird
with such aggression.
I understand. But yeah, definitely look for us on that, and we may even you may even find yourself on YouTube if you join in some of our live streams. So
there you go. You can email him at bloodaxe@dicejunkies.com if you want to send him suggestions that way.
Yeah, we have emails.
Yeah,
I should go check that again. It's been a while.
Yeah, you probably should. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.